welcome to today's deep dive. I mean, we are super excited to have you here with
Oh,
us.
definitely. We've got a really great one today.
Yeah, we really do. It is just wild, like, when you stop and actually think about the sheer amount of time, energy, and just intense stress that goes into planning a wedding.
Oh, for sure. It's overwhelming.
Right. Like, you have these couples agonizing for 6 solid months over whether the napkins should be, ecru or eggshell
Yep.
white.
Or coordinating those massive multi-tabbed spreadsheets.
Exactly. Just to manage, like, the dietary restrictions of their third cousins.
It is essentially producing a high-stakes, one-day theatrical event. I mean, it requires just a staggering amount of project management,
A one-day event. Just one day. But then look at what happens before that day.
right? The years leading up to it.
Yeah. That same couple might spend 3, 4, maybe 5 years living together beforehand. They're sharing a lease, they're building equity, maybe adopting a dog, mixing their bank accounts.
All of that, yeah.
And how much time do they spend legally protecting those years? Usually 0. Like, absolutely 0.
That's a huge blind spot.
It really is. And that blind spot is exactly why the modern trend of living together before marriage has created this completely hidden minefield of legal and financial complexities.
Which is why our mission today is so crucial.
Exactly. We want to unpack all of that for you today. We are drawing from a comprehensive new guide on cohabitation agreements, specifically tailored for long-term couples.
Right, alongside the rather revolutionary philosophy of a modern relationship planning platform. It's called Weddizer.
Yeah, Weddizer. And this stuff is incredibly relevant for anyone navigating modern partnerships.
Oh, absolutely, because we are seeing relationships evolve rapidly, but the legal structures meant to support them are, well, they're basically stuck in the mid-20th century.
Okay, let's unpack this because the irony here is just too loud to ignore, right? We obsess over the aesthetics of the one-day party, but we completely ignore the legal reality of the half-decade leading up to it.
We really do.
Like, we just dive into a shared lease and assume it will all just work out.
And that assumption stems from a fundamental misunderstanding, really, of how the law views unmarried couples.
Right.
I mean, when you marry someone, you're instantly entered into this highly codified legal framework. Family law dictates exactly how your assets, your debts, your responsibilities are handled.
It's all mapped out for you.
Exactly. But when you simply move in together, no matter how committed you are, you remain entirely outside that framework.
The common law illusion plays a huge role here, doesn't it?
Oh, it's massive.
Because people genuinely believe that if you live together long enough, the universe, or the government, I guess, magically bestows marriage rights upon you.
Right, like a reward for time served.
Yeah, like you hit year 7, and a fairy godmother taps you with a wand and declares you legally protected.
I hear that all the time. But that is perhaps the most dangerous myth in modern dating. Yeah. To understand why, you have to look at the mechanics of common law. Historically, common law marriage existed in these rural areas where people couldn't easily access a magistrate or a priest to formalize a union.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the law essentially said, look, if you act married, we will treat you as married. But today, the vast majority of jurisdictions have completely abolished it.
Wait, completely abolished it.
Yeah, mostly to prevent legal fraud. And in the very few places it still actually exists, it requires highly specific actions.
Like what?
Like filing joint taxes, or officially presenting yourselves as spouses to the public. I mean, it is never just a matter of living together for a set number of years.
Wow, so if things fall apart, there is literally no family court to sort out who gets what?
None. You don't go to family court. You go to civil court.
Oh, wow.
And civil court views you not as a former romantic couple, but as two completely separate business entities dissolving a partnership.
That sounds cold.
It is. They look at property deeds and receipts. They do not care about your emotional investment or your informal promises to, take care of each other.
It totally reminds me of trying to merge 2 completely different smartphone operating systems.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like you decide to move in together, so you are syncing your lives. You are trying to connect an Apple ecosystem with an Android ecosystem without checking for compatibility.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
Yeah.
Taking that analogy further, what you actually need is an API.
An API.
Yeah, an application programming interface. In software, an API is the specific code that allows 2 totally different systems to share data securely, without corrupting each other.
Oh, that makes perfect sense because without that API, without that compatibility bridge, it feels totally fine at first.
Right, everything's smooth.
Yeah, you share photos, you sync your calendars for grocery runs, but underneath you have no shared architecture. And it only takes one bug, right? One major financial disagreement or one unexpected life event, and the whole system crashes. All your data, your assets, your shared life, it gets corrupted because the systems weren't actually designed to talk to each other safely.
Spot on. And because the legal system doesn't automatically provide that API for your shared life,
Yeah.
you have to proactively build your own.
You have to write your own code.
Exactly. You have to write your own code to make sure those operating systems interact fairly.
Mhm.
And that code, well, that is the cohabitation agreement.
Which the text defines as a legally binding document outlining financial rights, property ownership, and debt obligations while living together.
Right.
But, and I have to play devil's advocate here for you listening, realistically, aren't you just setting a self-fulfilling prophecy for a breakup?
A lot of people feel that way.
I mean, handing the person you love a legal contract over morning coffee seems like it completely kills the romance. It screams, I don't actually trust that we're going to make it.
What's fascinating here is how the source material completely dismantles that perspective. The guide argues that avoiding the conversation is what actually signals a lack of trust.
Really? How so?
Well, relying on unspoken assumptions is easy. Sitting down with your partner to have a radically transparent, entirely honest conversation about your financial realities, that takes immense courage and profound trust.
Okay, I hear that. But doesn't formalizing it introduce conflict into a relationship that might, be going perfectly fine?
It doesn't create conflict. It exposes the structural weaknesses that will inevitably cause conflict later.
Oh, interesting.
It forces you to align your expectations. You are looking at each other and basically saying, I care about you enough to make sure we are both protected no matter what happens to us romantically.
That is a huge reframe.
It is. Furthermore, the text directly targets the misconception that only wealthy individuals with trust funds need these agreements.
Right, the idea that you only need financial clarity if you own a yacht or a diverse real estate portfolio?
Yeah, and it is a massive miscalculation. Anyone with income, anyone with savings, and critically, anyone with debt has stakes in this.
Debt is a huge one.
It really is. If you are sharing rent, buying furniture, or if one of you carries a significant student loan balance, you need this API.
So for you listening, if you fundamentally hate financial surprises or you despise the feeling of unspoken expectations hanging in the air, this document is essentially a communication superpower.
It absolutely is.
It removes the ambiguity that breeds resentment.
And once couples push through that initial unavoidable awkwardness of bringing the topic up, they almost universally report that the actual process of building the agreement is incredibly clarifying.
Well, let's dig into the mechanics of that clarity. What actual tangible details are going into this document?
Quite a few things.
The source outlines division of living expenses, property ownership percentages, joint savings, and business interests.
Yes.
But I want to talk about the nuance of property ownership because this is where civil court gets incredibly messy.
Oh, definitely.
Say we move into your house, you're on the mortgage, I pay you $1,000 a month. In my head, we are building a life together, right? I am contributing to our shared household.
Right, you feel like an equal partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then 5 years later, we split. Do I get a cut of the home's appreciation?
Without a cohabitation agreement, civil court will just look at the deed.
Just the deed.
Just the deed. And if only your name is on the deed, the court will deem the $1,000 a month as simple rent. You were a tenant.
Wow.
You get zero equity, despite your psychological belief that you were investing in a shared future. A cohabitation agreement forces a couple to explicitly state whether those payments are building equity for the non-owner or if they're strictly rent.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The text specifically highlights debt protection and pets.
Yes, those are huge.
These two areas represent the absolute extremes of adult life, right?
Right?
Crippling financial liability and deep emotional attachment.
Both of which are entirely unprotected by default.
Let's look at the debt first. The agreement establishes a firewall, preventing one partner from suddenly becoming responsible for the other's personal liabilities.
Which is so important.
I think people often overlook this when they are blinded by the honeymoon phase of moving in. Like, you are moving in with the love of your life, but you are also moving in with their $50,000 in private student loans.
Or their aggressive credit card debt, yeah.
Exactly.
You need a legally recognized barrier. The agreement dictates that your individual income or your portion of the joint assets cannot be garnished or leveraged to satisfy their historical debt.
So it protects you.
Right, it protects your individual financial health while allowing you to merge your living situations safely.
And then there are the pets. Anyone who loves their dog is going to find the legal reality horrifying, but the law generally views animals as chattel. They are just property.
It's sad, but legally, your golden retriever is treated no differently than a toaster or a flat-screen television.
A toaster! That's awful.
I know. In civil court, if you cannot agree on who keeps the dog, a judge will literally look for the receipt of purchase or the adoption papers. Whoever paid the adoption fee gets the property.
Which completely ignores who actually walks the dog, pays for the vet bills, or has the emotional bond.
It completely ignores it. Now, some progressive jurisdictions like California and New York have recently passed laws allowing judges in divorce cases to consider the well-being of the animal, effectively creating pet custody.
Oh, that's a nice step.
It is, but again, that is family court.
Oh,
Cohabitating couples are in civil court.
right.
A cohabitation agreement bypasses this uncertain legal patchwork entirely. You decide in advance what happens to the pet, avoiding a vicious, emotionally devastating battle later.
This raises an important question, though. Why do we view planning for a breakup as a curse, rather than an insurance policy?
That is the million-dollar question.
The guide insists on including a detailed exit plan, and for a lot of people that just feels like bad juju, like you are drafting the blueprint for your own failure.
Think of it this way. You don't buy homeowners insurance because you want your house to burn down.
Well, no, of course not.
You buy it because if a fire happens, you don't want to be left utterly destitute. The exit plan defines exactly how property, shared assets, and joint accounts will be untangled if the relationship ends.
So you figure out the logistics of a breakup while you still actually have mutual respect for one another.
Precisely. Determining how to dismantle a shared life when you are in a state of love prevents incredibly costly, deeply toxic disputes if you eventually fall out of love.
Because emotions run so high later.
Exactly. When a breakup happens, the brain is flooded with stress hormones, people are hurt, they're angry, and they're basically incapable of thinking logically.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
If the blueprint for untangling your life is already written, it acts as an objective, stabilizing force during a period of intense chaos.
It provides a rational roadmap out of the woods when neither of you can see straight. But the source material introduces a brilliant pivot here. This roadmap isn't purely a contingency plan for failure. It is actually a highly effective conditioning tool for when things go right.
Right, when the relationship naturally progresses toward marriage.
Yes. The agreement serves as a rigorous trial run for marriage. I mean, think about the mechanisms involved in drafting it.
You are taking a full inventory of your assets and debts.
You are establishing protocols for joint savings.
You are navigating highly sensitive conversations about financial priorities and behavioral expectations.
Right. You are doing the heavy lifting of marital financial planning long before anyone even buys a ring. You are building muscle memory for monthly budgeting, emergency fund allocation, and just transparent communication.
And this brings us to the methodology of Weddizer, the platform heavily featured in our source text.
I love what they are doing.
It's so smart. Weddizer recognizes that the wedding industry has historically done a massive disservice to couples by hyper-focusing entirely on the aesthetics of the wedding day.
The napkins and the spreadsheets.
Right, while completely ignoring the 50-year structural integrity of the marriage itself.
I am just fascinated by their approach. How do they actually integrate this legal and financial preparation into a platform that people are ostensibly using to pick out venues and floral arrangements?
Well, they treat wedding planning not just as event management, but as marital project management.
Marital project management. I like that phrase.
It works, right? Alongside the checklists for catering and invitations, Weddizer embeds financial discovery